Today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the INFP personality type. So, INFPs, as Jung theorizes personality type, actually have four cognitive functions in their stack: introverted feeling, extroverted intuition, introverted sensing, and extroverted thinking. So, to identify this personality type, you're going to have to consider whether you're looking at a younger INFP, someone who's around maybe middle age, and then someone much older, because they're all going to come across differently. Because younger INFPs who have probably developed their first cognitive function more than the other ones in their stack will be using that dominantly, and you might be seeing a lack of extroverted thinking. Whereas if you were to meet INFP maybe in their 40s or 50s or later on, you could perhaps even mistake them for a TJ type. Because that extroverted thinking at the bottom of their stack could be much more developed, and hence you would not necessarily see the traditional stereotypical INFP. In general, if you're trying to spot an INFP when they're young, so maybe in high school, maybe when they're in college or university and graduating, you can look for, someone who seems somewhat reserved or quieter, sensitive, someone who has good artistic taste, someone who seems a little contemplative, who almost has a kind of dreamy appearance to their eyes or the way they take in the world around them. Gentle souls in general. But if you get to know them personally, you'll find that you come across someone who seems very principled, who primarily walks through life and who's led by their own moral values and ethics. So they have very, very strong opinions. It's just that, with that extroverted intuition in their stack, they just have a kind of dreamy look to their eyes, unlike introverted intuition, which kind of has a stronger focus. So you might mistake them if you're just looking at them on the surface, that they're kind of more, contemplative and do not necessarily have very strong opinions. But once you get to know them personally, you'll find that it's one of the most opinionated types. So if you're going to get into a long-term relationship of any kind, be it, if you're thinking of dating one, if you're thinking of marrying one, if you're thinking of, maybe a business partnership with one, or any situation that would kind of require you to have closer knowledge of this type, then I would say that, this is a type that you would likely need to take a little bit of time to get to know. They're in general sweet, sensitive, and kind, and they're also known to be one of the most forgiving MBTI types, actually. So the joke goes that some of the, J types will say, oh, there's no way you can kind of offend an INFP for too long. Oh, they'll just get over it, you just need to go to them and apologize sincerely, and they will never, hold a grudge against you. I might share more about this because INFPs are a very complex type. So it's not that if you don't see something on the surface, that you're seeing the full truth necessarily for this personality type. There are two, stereotypes when it comes to this type. One is that they can be, they can have a very sweet, kind, gentle exterior. And then there's the other stereotype of the INFP, which many INFPs will relate to, is the RBF, the rest, where, they look very intimidating and cold, and it's you're not welcome beyond a certain point till you get to know them. So I think though, for the second type, I have personally in my experience only seen that with INFPs 16, 17 or older, not so much in high school. Just could be my own bias. They are highly idealistic, quite romantic, as in they have a innate sense of romanticism and aesthetic appreciation. Creative thinkers who kind of engage with you when you try to talk to them, who are not intimidating in any way. Seems very friendly, very amicable, very easy to talk to. It's just, I guess FI has a certain warmth to it that you might feel coming off of them. I'll say of, types that are excellent with people, INFPs are one of them. They're not, a type that often goes into, let's say, counseling or, any kind of professions that kind of require greater awareness of the other individual's feelings or thoughts, because they don't have extroverted feeling in their stack, which is sort of thought to be like the function that gives you an ability to kind of match another's emotions and sense them better. And FI is thought of to be like a bubble where you only know what you want, who you are, and things like that. Speaking of which, I have to mention this is a type that's extremely individualistic. They kind of are known for being very unique, so you will notice them. They're very creative, and once you get them to start talking, they will not stop talking. That extroverted intuition in their auxiliary position, it will come across different from an INTP's extroverted intuition, because an INTP will often go on and on about their intellectual interests, and you can't stop them if they start talking. If they do, they will have to find you intellectually credible to actually even think of entertaining you that way. But for an INFP, whether it be something that's important to them in a very personal way, whether it be their values, whether it be something that touches them or that holds meaning to them in some way, which FI is about. Once you get an INFP to warm up to you and befriend one, you'll find that they will use that extroverted intuition to keep talking and talking and talking. And then you might find yourself in a position where it's hard to kind of get them to shut up. But you can. Maybe I'll give you tips. No, that's just a joke. It's just bullying, INFPs out there. They're fun, interesting people to hang around with and have conversation. And maybe I'll share tips to, befriend them and get to know them. And what you can do if you're interested. Maybe there's one that struck your interest. So, bye-bye.